Welcome, Chosen X. You stand on a precipice that stretches beyond sight, where the world you know dissolves into a horizon of possibilities. Every heartbeat carries the echo of eternity, and every inhalation pulls the faint hum of unseen realms into your chest. In this instant, you are not merely a mortal vessel but a nexus, a convergence of fire, light, and the potential that resides in the hidden chambers of your spirit. The ordinary world has long whispered limitations into your ears, but now the air itself trembles with invitation, a summons to remember who you were always meant to be. Within you burns a spark that no circumstance can extinguish. It is raw, untamed, yet precise, threading its way through your thoughts, desires, and fears. This flame is the resonance of a cosmic design, the pulse of a vast hierarchy that stretches across time and dimension. You are the heir of that resonance, called to awaken to a truth so profound that ordinary language struggles to contain it. It begins with passion. Not the fleeting desire of mortal indulgence, but a fire that consumes doubt, fear, and hesitation. The intensity is unyielding, relentless, a tidal force that reminds you that love, courage, and devotion are not abstract ideals but living energy ready to transform reality. As you feel this energy, imagine wings made not of flesh but of luminous essence unfurling behind your shoulders. These wings do not merely lift you physically, they elevate the very nature of your presence. They shield your gaze when awe is too overwhelming, conceal your foundation when humility is demanded, and propel you forward when the ordinary world tries to tether your spirit. Every step you take in this awareness is a declaration that your life is not incidental, it is purposeful. You carry the fire of creation, the heat of unyielding commitment that radiates even in silence. In the depths of your mind, the image of guardians emerges as beings neither entirely human nor fully divine. They are symbols of wisdom, protectors of truths too fragile to be mishandled. Their essence courses through you when you grasp insight with humility, when knowledge is wielded not for dominance but for illumination. Every time you untangle confusion for another, every time your presence steadies trembling hearts, you reflect their vigilance. They are not distant myths, they are the mirror of your own capacity to discern, to guide, to elevate consciousness wherever shadows linger. And yet, even as passion and wisdom awaken within, another force stirs, the relentless call of justice. Imagine a wheel of light, its multiple eyes observing not to condemn but to reveal balance. It is the measure by which every thought, choice, and action is weighed, the cosmic rhythm that reminds you that neutrality in the face of cruelty is complicity. Every time you refuse to bend beneath oppression, every time your spirit demands fairness despite personal cost, you embody the principle that power without responsibility is meaningless. This is the beginning of your intimate understanding of cosmic law, not as abstract doctrine but as lived experience. You are called now to reflect on your own life as a mosaic of sparks, each a signature of this hierarchy stirring within. Recall the moments when your mere presence shifted a room, when your quiet resolve carried more authority than 1,000 voices. Remember the times when compassion illuminated darkness, when insight revealed unseen patterns, when justice, though costly, was your only choice. These were never random, they were rehearsals, tiny awakenings of the fire, the light, and the balance already inscribed in your essence. Consider how intertwined these currents are within you. Passion ignites courage, wisdom channels that courage with clarity, and the call for justice directs both toward meaningful action. You are not separate from the grand architecture of the universe, you are the conduit through which it expresses itself. Your thoughts, your choices, your very presence are instruments tuned to a symphony that has existed long before your first breath and will continue long after your last. The realization should both awe and humble you. The celestial is not far above but flowing through every vein, every heartbeat, every conscious intention. Look deeper and you will feel it, an unseen choreography, a rhythm that has shaped you through trials and revelations. Every betrayal endured, every night of doubt and isolation, every moment when you felt forgotten or broken, was a sculptor's strike upon the raw marble of your soul. These experiences were not punishments but catalysts, refining you to hold a fire that can illuminate not only your path but the paths of countless others. You are tempered in the forge of lived reality, preparing for a role that transcends time and circumstance. Now, at this threshold, the question is clear. Will you recognize the flame and allow it to claim your every intention, your every action, your very existence? Will you awaken to the gravity of your own potential and step into the unfolding story that is both yours and yet larger than any life could contain? To hesitate is to deny the universe its reflection in you. To rise is to honor the hidden hierarchy and to breathe life into truths that have waited, patiently, for your recognition. Every choice you make from this point forward carries the resonance of eternity. Each act of courage, each gesture of kindness, each moment of insight is a note in a symphony whose echoes will outlast lifetimes. This is not allegory. This is not aspiration alone. This is the tangible, breathing reality of your awakening. You are no longer merely a participant in the world, you are the spark through which the heavens themselves illuminate the earth. You carry the flame, but now you sense another dimension unfolding within you. The fire that ignited your essence is not alone, it is guided, tempered, and mirrored by forces that measure not by intensity alone but by clarity and discernment. Wisdom waits at the periphery of your consciousness, patient yet insistent. It is not the mere accumulation of facts or fleeting cleverness, but a luminous current that courses through understanding, revealing the architecture beneath chaos. Every insight, every subtle realization, is a vibration of this current, reminding you that knowledge without reverence is hollow, and power without direction is destructive. In this awakening, imagine beings of hybrid form, neither fully human nor entirely ethereal, standing sentinel around the truths you are only beginning to grasp. Their presence is a quiet intensity, a careful orchestration of vigilance. They do not speak with words that you can immediately hear, they speak with resonance, nudging your perception, sharpening your attention to the subtleties of cause and consequence. Every time you untangle a web of misunderstanding, guide someone through the fog of confusion, or illuminate a hidden connection, you are echoing their vigilance. This is not a myth. This is the mirror of your latent capacity to wield insight with both precision and compassion. And yet, even as you navigate these currents, you feel the pull of a heavier force of justice. Not the abstract, distant concept of law, but a living principle that measures integrity in the weight of your choices. Picture a wheel of infinite eyes, each revolving with impartial awareness, observing without judgment but with perfect discernment. It teaches that every action carries consequence, that apathy is itself a form of betrayal, and that courage is often silent, hidden in moments where ease tempts compromise. You feel this principle when your conscience resists the current of cruelty, when you stand firm even when conformity would be simpler, when fairness becomes more than preference, it becomes imperative. Your life, viewed through the lens of these twin currents, reveals itself as a constellation of formative experiences. Recall those nights when you spoke truth in the face of fear, when you comforted a stranger though no one watched, when your quiet judgment shifted outcomes that seemed predetermined. Each of these moments is not a coincidence but a signature of these guardian forces at work within you. They are the invisible hands aligning your moral compass, echoing a hierarchy that is not distant but woven into the fabric of your soul. Every act of insight or moral courage is a vibration in the resonance of these guardians. When you choose to see the unseen, to understand before reacting, to mediate instead of dominating, you enact the same principles that guide the celestial keepers. They remind you that wisdom is not merely intellectual, and justice is not merely legal. They exist in the spaces between moments, in the silent choices where the ordinary becomes extraordinary, and the human becomes a vessel of higher design. Consider the delicate balance you have maintained in life, the negotiations of relationships, the subtleties of communication, the restraint exercised when impulse demands otherwise. These are not trivial, they are manifestations of your inner alignment with principles far larger than the sum of daily routines. Each careful word, each mindful action, is a testament to the ongoing orchestration between knowledge and justice. It is here, in these interstitial spaces, that your latent power gains its form, taking root not in spectacle but in precise, meaningful action. The journey now presses you toward deeper awareness. You realize that insight without action is like a flame confined to a single spark, it warms only yourself. True awakening occurs when understanding channels through you, when wisdom animates courage, and when justice amplifies your choices into ripples across lives. The guardians remind you that neutrality is complicity, that compassion is an instrument, and that discernment is a bridge between the ephemeral and the eternal. Every subtle revelation, every pang of moral clarity, is a signal. You are not observing the world passively, you are the conduit of its alignment. Moments of hesitation, uncertainty, and moral struggle are not failures, they are the forging of resilience, the calibration of a spirit attuned to higher currents. You are learning to navigate a spectrum where intellect, empathy, and principle converge into actionable power. Now, imagine these currents flowing through every facet of your being. Wisdom and justice intertwine like twin rivers, their waters weaving clarity into every choice, insight into every conversation, and integrity into every decision. The guardians do not demand obedience, they whisper, remind, and illuminate. You are not being judged from above, you are being invited to recognize your own sovereignty in shaping reality with discernment and courage. You sense the expanding horizon, the flame within you no longer flickers alone. It dances in harmony with these guiding forces, each breath a conversation with unseen mentors who embody the principles you are beginning to realize. Every encounter with challenge, every quiet act of understanding, every silent refusal to compromise is evidence that your awakening is not speculative, it is inevitable. And as the light of your consciousness grows, you notice the tension it creates, between comfort and courage, between ease and responsibility, between self-interest and the call to something far greater. This tension is sacred, it is the engine of your evolution. You are no longer merely navigating existence, you are becoming the axis upon which clarity, justice, and courage pivot. The guardians have awakened within you, and with their presence comes a call, to act, to discern, and to carry the principles of eternity into the immediacy of human experience. Here, on this precipice of awareness, you feel it fully. The twin currents of wisdom and justice are not theoretical, they are your inheritance, your charge, and your identity. The fire of your initial awakening now resonates with depth, and the path forward stretches with profound clarity. Every choice, every act of understanding, every moment of courage is a thread in a tapestry that will extend beyond your life, shaping realities both visible and unseen. You have felt the fire of awakening in the pulse of wisdom and justice, yet now the horizon of your inner universe unfolds into something more tangible. This is not a call to abstraction, but an invitation to weave the invisible into the living world. Within you lies an innate ability to manifest order from chaos, to bring beauty into the fragmented, and to stand as a bastion when shadows press against the fragile light of existence. You are no longer merely a vessel of potential, you are a builder, a creator, and a protector whose influence radiates far beyond your immediate perception. Imagine structures forming in the air, intricate lattices of energy that map the currents of life and human endeavor. These are not literal buildings, yet they possess the same precision, stability, and grace. You feel the pulse of dominion flowing through you, the quiet mastery of orchestrating complexity without tyranny, the subtle art of aligning disparate elements into a coherent whole. Every act of guidance, every strategic decision, every intervention that turns discord into harmony reflects this energy. When you navigate teams, families, or communities with steady vision, you enact a principle older than time, leadership not for dominance, but for alignment, for the flourishing of the whole. Alongside this mastery, another force awakens, the spark of creation. It is less visible, more intimate, yet equally powerful. Virtues arise in your consciousness, radiant currents of inspiration that breathe life into structures you have begun to shape. Creation is no longer limited to art or invention, it is infused in every act that uplifts, every gesture that heals, every insight that illuminates a path previously shrouded in uncertainty. Imagine the subtle brushstroke that shifts a perception, the quiet word that sparks hope, the idea that transforms despair into possibility. Each is a manifestation of your inner virtue, a divine whisper made tangible through human endeavor. But creation alone is vulnerable without protection, and so resilience emerges as a third pillar. Powers course through you, fortifying your mind, body, and spirit against the weight of deception, the erosion of integrity, and the encroachment of fear. This is not brute strength, it is discernment, vigilance, and endurance. You recognize it in the moments when temptation whispers compromise, when the world offers shortcuts that betray principle, and when the noise of distraction threatens to pull you from your path. In resisting, You exercise sacred will, the quiet, unwavering force that ensures the brilliance of your wisdom and creativity is neither corrupted nor diminished. These three currents, order, creation, and resilience, do not exist in isolation. They converge, forming an intricate latticework of your own inner architecture. Imagine your consciousness as a vast city, each district representing a facet of your capability, each thoroughfare a connection between insight, intention, and action. Dominions provide the infrastructure, laying the frameworks of possibility. Virtues animate these frameworks, infusing them with life and inspiration. Powers safeguard the integrity of the entire system, ensuring that what is built is neither fragile nor compromised. The interplay of these forces is subtle yet profound, like the synchronized beat of countless wings moving unseen yet shaping the skies above. Every time you organize fragmented efforts, inspire creativity in others, or resist moral compromise, you reinforce this internal edifice. You become a living embodiment of cosmic architecture, a participant in the harmonics of order, a vessel through which creation is expressed, and a shield against entropy and corruption. Even the smallest choice, from offering guidance to protecting a vulnerable truth, becomes a reinforcement of the lattice, an echo of this sacred orchestration within your reality. Pause for a moment and consider the patterns in your own life. Think of moments when you turned conflict into collaboration, when your vision illuminated paths for others, when your resilience allowed you to endure trials that could have broken lesser wills. These were not coincidences. They were the subtle manifestations of dominion, virtue, and power converging within you, rehearsing the larger symphony of influence you are poised to conduct. Yet, as vast as this inner structure is, it is not only about building and defending. It is also a conduit through which inspiration flows outward. Communities, relationships, and even fleeting interactions become the mediums through which your alignment resonates. Your capacity to shape, create, and protect is never confined to self. It radiates, influencing, transforming, and elevating all it touches. Every act of courage, every insight shared, every ethical choice made is a note in a melody that spans human experience, connecting what is personal to what is universal. Feel now the subtle weight of responsibility. As your influence grows, so does the consequence of an action. The very framework of order, the sparks of creation, the fortitude of resilience all demand presence, awareness, and engagement. Ignoring this current would not silence it, it would ripple outward, leaving gaps in the architecture of human flourishing. To rise is not optional. To act is inevitable. Every hesitation is a delay in the realization of the potential encoded in your very being. And still, there is more. Beyond these forces, closer to the lived reality of human societies, dwell other currents that will shape not only your path but the lives intertwined with yours. The horizon expands as principalities, archangels, and angels make themselves known not as distant myth, but as living dynamics that operate through influence, courage, and compassion. They bring the invisible frameworks into tangible engagement with the world around you, bridging the eternal with the immediate, the abstract with the real, the cosmic with the intimate. Through the alignment of order, creation, and resilience, you are now prepared to recognize and participate in these higher currents. The structures you have begun to manifest internally are mirrored externally in opportunities, relationships, and challenges. Your task is to act as both architect and steward, guiding what emerges with clarity, shaping it with inspiration, and defending it with unwavering resolve. The world will test your fortitude, your vision, and your ethical clarity, yet within you, the forces of dominions, virtues, and powers ensure you are never unarmed. And so, with fire in your chest, clarity in your mind, and resilience coursing through your limbs, you stand at the gateway of this next phase. The guardians have prepared you. The currents have aligned. The architecture is poised. You are ready to move beyond internal manifestation into direct influence, where cosmic principles intersect with daily life, and where your awakened potential begins to ripple outward, shaping destiny itself. The currents of order, creation, and resilience pulse within you, yet a larger stage now stretches before your perception. You step beyond your own inner architecture, moving into the living panorama where forces once imagined as distant myth converge directly with human destiny. Here, the Guardians emerge not as abstract ideals but as active presences that shape societies, communities, and the fragile structures of everyday life. You feel them in the quiet awareness that whispers direction, in the courage that steels your spine against fear, in the subtle nudges that guide your hands and words toward what is just and necessary. First, the principalities appear as radiant orchestrators of collective destiny. They are not rulers demanding allegiance, but architects of possibility, their energy bridging vision and reality. Every time you sense the weight of responsibility to influence a group, a community, or even a fleeting gathering toward cohesion, you embody the essence of principality. Their power is the calm insistence of the lighthouse in the storm, the steady hand that arranges scattered threads into a pattern that supports life and justice. When you envision systems that uplift, when you translate abstract ideals into pragmatic direction, you are the living instrument of this force. Next, the archangels stand with quiet intensity, their presence unmistakable in the courage they instill and the clarity they deliver. Unlike brute force, their influence is refined, precise, and transformative. You experience it whenever truth demands confrontation, when a single statement has the power to redirect fear into understanding, when the mere alignment of your will with righteousness reshapes the course of events. Archangels are the bearers of sacred communication and fearless protection, the bridge between principle and action. Your words, choices, and convictions become the flames that cut through deception and illuminate paths that otherwise remain dark. And then, closest to the texture of daily life, the angels manifest, their touch subtle yet profound. These are the guardians who inhabit moments unnoticed, flowing through kindness, intuition, and gentle vigilance. You sense them in sudden inspiration to act compassionately, in the unspoken urge to shield another from harm, in the effortless alignment of your decisions with empathy. Every spontaneous act of courage or guidance reflects their presence, revealing that divine guardianship is not reserved for grand stages but woven into the intimate fabric of human interaction. You realize that every smile offered in earnest, every word of counsel spoken with integrity, every act of protection even when unseen carries the resonance of this tier of guardians. Together, principalities, archangels, and angels form a horizon of engagement that extends beyond your own life, connecting your decisions and presence to communities, generations, and the ongoing evolution of society. Where dominions, virtues, and power shaped internal architecture, this triad situates you in the immediate world, urging participation, responsibility, and moral courage. You recognize the echoes of these forces in your daily choices, the subtle compulsion to act for the greater good, the fierce insistence to resist compromise, the nurturing presence that shields and elevates those around you. Each gesture is a chord in a symphony of influence that spans both the visible and the unseen. Pause and reflect on the moments when you have been called to serve something larger than yourself. Perhaps it was a sudden sense to intervene in injustice, a resolve to speak truth in a room full of contradiction, a decision to provide guidance when confusion reigned. These are not coincidences. They are the current of the principalities shaping your vision, the roar of archangels strengthening your courage, the subtle hand of angels guiding your intuition. You are an active participant in forces that extend well beyond what you can immediately perceive. This triad teaches you that influence is inseparable from integrity. To bear the light of principality is to envision societies and communities where fairness and harmony flourish. To embody the energy of archangels is to confront falsehood, injustice, and fear with unwavering clarity. To follow the guidance of angels is to honor the quiet, intimate responsibility that your presence carries. Together, they form a living continuum between the eternal principles of cosmic order and the tactile realities of human experience. Your task now is not only to perceive these guardians but to act as their conduit. Every conversation, every decision, every act of moral courage becomes a manifestation of their principles. Communities, workplaces, and families all become the terrain where the currents of the horizon flow through you. You are no longer a passive observer but an active participant, whose alignment with these forces shapes destinies, influences culture, and reinforces the principles of justice, wisdom, and compassion in tangible ways. At this threshold, you may feel the immense weight of responsibility, yet within it lies exhilaration. The forces that animate your inner life now converge with the structures of the external world. Your influence is profound, subtle, and far-reaching. Every choice resonates, every decision matters, every act of courage amplifies the Guardian's presence. They do not act without you, and you do not act without them. You sense now the delicate balance required. Too much force without wisdom may fracture rather than heal. Too much compassion without discernment may falter in the face of deception. Too much vision without courage may dissipate into inertia. Yet, when you integrate these currents, your existence becomes a living testament to the harmony between principle and practice, between the ethereal and the tangible. As your awareness deepens, you recognize that this horizon of guardians is not an endpoint. Beyond their influence, a new realm awaits, one where the convergence of your inner architecture and external engagement transforms destiny itself. The final triad of this journey calls you to embody and extend these currents, shaping the narrative of your life and the lives intertwined with yours in ways that echo through time and space. Prepare yourself, for the next phase will reveal the ultimate synthesis, the intimate and eternal interplay of purpose, action, and legacy. The Guardians have guided you this far, but now the story turns toward the most direct expressions of divine resonance in human life. You are ready to step into that moment, to become the instrument through which cosmic principles flow into lived reality, and to see the profound impact of your presence reflected in the world around you. You have journeyed through the layers of your own spirit, each rank of guardians leaving indelible marks on your consciousness. The fires of devotion have burned within you, wisdom has illuminated your mind, balance has sharpened your sense of justice, and resilience has fortified your will. The currents of order and creativity, of courage and compassion, have converged, preparing you for the ultimate revelation. Now, the horizon before you widens into a plane where human existence and divine resonance are no longer separate but intertwined, where your actions carry the weight and brilliance of eternity. Here, in this moment, the principality's vision converges with your personal resolve. You feel the gravity of shaping collective destiny, the responsibility of aligning fragmented communities, and the delicate artistry of influencing human systems with clarity and integrity. The echo of archangels vibrates through your chest, demanding courage in the face of fear, insisting on truth when deception clouds perception, urging action even when the cost is great. Every heartbeat carries the resonance of their strength, a drumbeat of divine insistence that you are not here merely to witness but to act, to speak, and to shape. And yet, the angels whisper in your subtler moments, reminding you that intimacy is as sacred as grandeur. In kitchens, in quiet streets, in the unseen corners of daily life, compassion flows through your decisions. Every gesture, every word of comfort, every act of shielding another from harm, carries a ripple of divine energy. You begin to recognize that greatness is not only measured in public deeds but in these unseen currents, the soft power that nurtures, protects, and transforms. They remind you that even the smallest act of care echoes into eternity, that every choice is a brushstroke on the canvas of the infinite. Now, the culmination of all these forces calls you to integrate and embody them fully. The fire of passion, the light of knowledge, the weight of justice, the architecture of order, the breath of creativity, the shield of resilience, the guidance of vision, the courage to confront, and the intimacy of care all converge into a symphony that is you. You are the living instrument through which the divine hierarchy resonates in the human world. The angel within is no longer a distant reflection, it is alive, active, and waiting for your conscious engagement. Consider the weight of this realization. Every word you speak, every action you take, every thought you nurture becomes a channel for these forces. You are not a passive vessel. You are a conductor, an architect, a guardian, a voice, a presence that carries eternal currents into the fleeting moments of human life. Your choices are no longer isolated, they are chords in the ongoing symphony of creation. To deny this is to retreat from your own potential. To embrace it is to step fully into a destiny that was waiting before your first breath. You may feel the immense responsibility pressing against your chest, the almost unbearable recognition that your life is not your own but a nexus through which light, wisdom, and justice flow. Yet in this pressure lies exhilaration, a thrill of alignment with forces older than memory, stronger than fear, and more patient than time. You are poised on a threshold, the culmination of all the Guardian's influence ready to spring into visible expression. And in that moment, you will see the extraordinary vision that has been preparing itself to meet you. A video will appear at the center of your screen, not as mere content, but as a continuation of this divine conversation. Every frame is alive with resonance, every sound a pulse echoing the forces you have awakened. It is a portal where insight, revelation, and divine presence converge, offering a glimpse of truths too profound to contain in mere text. This is not an optional experience. It is a tailored conduit for the energies you have aligned with. Your engagement there will amplify your awareness, anchor your awakening, and extend your influence in ways words alone cannot achieve. Let the anticipation settle into your bones, for the unfolding vision is crafted to meet the angel within you directly. Every choice you make in watching, absorbing, and acting will ripple outward, shaping the unseen currents of your life and those connected to yours. The path is clear: to witness, to engage, and to embody. And while the video is the immediate conduit, your presence is the medium through which its power flows. Your spirit, your heart, your mind, these are instruments activated by the revelation awaiting you. Do not hesitate. Step forward fully, not as a spectator, but as the living expression of the hierarchy you have met, felt, and carried within. Click, watch, immerse yourself, and allow the narrative to continue where only vision can reach. Activate the bell to receive each new pulse of insight as it arrives, ensuring that your journey remains uninterrupted, continuous, and attuned to the currents of eternal guidance. The heavens are not distant observers, they are witnesses and collaborators in the unfolding of your purpose. Remember, every act of engagement here is an affirmation of the forces you carry. Every moment of attention, every choice to align with truth, every embrace of courage, compassion, and vision fortifies the angel within you. This is the final step in the current awakening, yet it is only the beginning of living fully as a conduit for eternal resonance. You are ready. You are called. And what awaits in that video is a reflection, an extension, and a revelation of everything you have prepared yourself to become. The hierarchy no longer rests above. It courses through your veins, resonates in your thoughts, and finds expression through your deeds. You are the continuation, the bridge, the living testament. Step forward, engage with the revelation that has been waiting, and claim the fullness of the angel within. Your story, your light, your choice begins here, in this sacred intersection of vision and life.